Hey, I'm Matt, and I got something to say. Sorry. That wasn't as good as when I was practicing it, though. When I say practicing, I sing it like 3 times before. But yeah, it's a great Misfits song. So I think it's called One Last Caress. But yeah, I'm Matt, and I'm headed to work, and I got some things to say. Let me start off with this. My buddy Pete WK, is back on YouTube, and I am very, very glad to be seeing him and his wife, Susie, and Rosie, back on YouTube. Pete Fighter 2, check it out. Check it out. So yeah, yeah, check it out. And so I have to brush my beard. But yeah, I'm just headed to work, and this is another video. This is a redo of another video I did where I ended up babbling for like a half hour on my way to work, and I ended up getting political, which I don't like doing because political views are like booty holes. Everyone has them, and they all stink. So yeah, but I just want to share this. Okay, I went to Tennessee for a wedding a few weeks ago, and it was awesome. But being from Oklahoma, being a flat earther, not like a flat earther like I believe the earth is flat, but being from Oklahoma where the land is flat, flatlander, I guess you could say. And then going up to Tennessee, and it was Rock Creek State Park, and the mountains, and not being able to see the horizon, and man, it was beautiful. And I'm sitting there, like, just standing there staring off at the sights, and I started talking to my buddy, Couch Potato Mike. And he's like, and I'm like, hey man, look at this, look at that. And he goes, yeah, people who live out here really do take it for granted. That car is just hanging out next to me, and I gotta get over. Because yeah, people who live here just really take it for granted. And I start telling them about the old buildings we saw. That one building was older than the state of Oklahoma. It had a plaque on it that said, built in, and I can't remember, but gave the date. And I'm like, that's before Oklahoma became a state. And I just find that stuff fascinating. In fact, Pete and I talk about, because he lives in the UK, and talk about how there's thousands of years of history there. Thousands of years of history. I live in a place where you might see a 150-year-old building in a field that's half falling down. But where Pete works is literally, it is an old barracks. And it has the archery inserts in the wall so that the archers could fire through there. And that's where he works. And I'm like, man, that is amazing. But all that led me to this. I started thinking, there are roughly 7.6 billion people on the face of this earth. Okay? That is roughly 7.6 billion different versions of the world. Okay? 7.6 billion different versions of the world. Some people are blind. Their versions of the world are all auditory and by touch and taste. Some people are colorblind. They only see certain colors. There can be, the Super Bowl. Millions of people watch the Super Bowl, but each and every single person who watched the Super Bowl, even though they were watching the exact same event, had a different version of that. Okay? Some of the people got upset at the end of the Super Bowl. Some of the people were happy at the end of the Super Bowl. Some of the people didn't even care about the game, but they didn't like the dip that they had with the chips, or this, or, it's just, there are 7.6 different 7.6 billion different versions of the world. That is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. You know, and I mean, what your version of the world might be completely different than your neighbor's version of the world. Okay? You might have that old crotchety lady that lives next door to you that's always screaming at people to stay off her lawn and yelling at people to slow down. And you're just like, man, that lady's old and crotchety. We live in this great town and this great country and this great this and that and everything. And, you know, but you don't realize that that old lady has spent the last 5 years living by herself because the person she spent the last 60-something years with died. And she has to wake up every single day in the exact same bed that she shared with him and wake up without him. And watch the same TV and go into the same kitchen. So, there are little things can completely change your version of the world. So just take that into consideration. And this is where I spun off in the political, which I'm not going to do this time. But yeah, just think there are 7.6 billion different versions of the world out there. Some people's versions of the world are great, are amazing. Other people's, it's like hell, you know? The biblical version of hell, or Dante's Inferno, the 7 layers of hell, you know, you pick. But some of the people, this is hell. Some of the people don't have a care in the world, you know, absolutely don't have a care in the world. Everything is fine. They snap their fingers and get whatever they want. And there's other people that gotta walk 20 miles round trip just to get clean water. I mean, yeah. When you think about it like that, like the guy next to me, his version of the world is his nose stuck into his phone while he's driving. Well, technically we are at a stoplight. But his version of the world is this right here with a phone. Which there are a lot of people nowadays. Their version of the world is this right here with a phone. So, can you please speed up because this lane ends and we got to get over. And that truck wasn't wanting me to get over. So, you know, some people's version of the world is their head stuck up their rear end. And, you know, they have to peek through their belly button. That's a funny image to think of. Just an eyeball in a belly button. Of course, they'd have to be bent over backwards with their head up the rear end. An eyeball in the belly button. That is hilarious. Oh, can you imagine? Like, there's a belly button and an eyeball. Oh, that is hilarious. So, right now, when I laugh and smile, my version of the world has pain. So, yeah. And so you never know someone else's version of the world. You never know what their version of the world is. So just kind of take a step back and think about that before before you judge somebody. Okay? Because there's an old saying that you don't truly know somebody till you walk a mile in their shoes. And that is very true. You might have the most comfortable shoes in the world. That person might not even have shoes and they're walking on a road of broken glass. Yet you're judging them for complaining. Really? You know. So that's all I wanted to say. I just find it like blew my mind when I thought about that. There are 7.6 billion different versions of the world. So you might live in a tourist destination and get pissed off that tourists are walking around. Oh, I can't get from here to here because people are always stopping and asking me to take a picture of them. Okay? Your version of the world has all that stuff. Other people's versions of the world might have the stuff that you have on their bucket list. That might be their lifetime goal, is to experience part of your version of the world. So just think about that. There are 7.6 billion different versions of the world. Some of them could be the same, but none of them are going to be identical. Even identical twins will have slightly different versions of the world. Okay? So just think about that. Think about it. Limp Bizkit. Sorry. So yeah. Oh, every time like the pressure changes in my mouth by like me opening my mouth wide or smiling, my cheeks going up, it hurts because I had